Now, in your opinion, can or is generosity a competitive advantage or liability in modern business? What do you think?
I think it's absolutely a competitive advantage. I think
Is
there
there
are
is there metrics on that somewhere?
there's absolutely metrics on how it impacts. I mean, the Francesca Gino article around gratitude very much points to productivity. So that's one point that's very clearly driving towards a competitive advantage. That science is there. I think the application that I'm making around the word generosity is not necessarily as direct, but I do think that there's a lot of evidence around leaders who are sacrificial in their approach, or leaders who create trust and psychological safety and all of those things. So the application is absolutely there in competitive advantage. I'm using the word generosity because I think it encompasses many of these traits in a larger cultural phenomenon. So I would argue that generosity in a greater sense does create a competitive advantage when you put all of these pieces together, because I think it encompasses a larger phenomenon than just one piece of trusting environment or psychological safety environment or a gratitude environment. It's a bigger concept of saying a leader and a culture that is generous to one another does much more that drives towards productivity and collaboration and a spirit of working together that allows people to do their best work and to show up in their best way.
Now, I know you went through a book writing process, and in your world, that takes a lot of research and discussions, dialogues, references, etc. When you were going through the process, Sharon, what surprised you the most of writing Neurogiven? For the audience, just a reminder that Sharon Koshi wrote a book called Neurogiven.
So particularly a book like this, which was very research driven. So I mentioned 220 plus peer reviewed source citations. This is a very research heavy book on purpose. So I'm grateful for Wiley and the team of editors that helped me go through that with a fine tooth comb to make sure that everything was cited properly and to make sure everything makes sense, and all of that. I think the thing that helped me the most and surprised me the most was the process of putting it all together, but also just understanding the depth of how much research was out there. The first draft was 90,000 words and the final product was a little over 60,000 words. So there's a lot more out there that didn't make the final product. So there's much more that could be said is what I would say.
And if somebody wants to pick up the book, Amazon, I'm assuming?
Yeah, anywhere great books are sold. So Indigo, Amazon, anywhere that you like to buy books.
Absolutely.